Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey here, once again with another video on The Flash Season 4. So The Flash returned this week with its new season, of course, as I said, that being its 4th season, along with the new seasons of all the other CW, DC TV shows. I thought the episode for the most part was really a lot of fun. It wasn't perfect, it had some issues with certain characters and how the writers and producers, decided to portray them, but the episode just felt like we went back in time ourselves to season 1 and relived the humour and tone of that season. I do know some people felt the humour and puns felt sort of like really out of place, but I just think that comes down to the difference in tone going from season 3 to season 4, which as I said felt much more like season 1. But I guess one of the bigger moments to happen in the first episode of season 4 was the exiting and escaping from the Speed Force done by Barry Allen after he went in there right at the end of season 3. But when Barry escaped the Speed Force, he wasn't the same Barry Allen that went in there at the end of season 3. Not only did he look a bit different, but he also wasn't the same mentally. He was like spouting out random lines that had nothing to do with whoever he was speaking to at the time. He was just like rhyming random words together, and of course we cannot forget about all those random symbols that Barry was writing absolutely everywhere he had the chance to. So in the remainder of this video we will be going over all of that and what it could mean going forward in not only this season but future seasons as well. But do let me know in the comments section down below if you think I've missed out on anything that is relevant or that you feel is relevant to this topic, and of course be sure to leave a like on the video if you're going to enjoy it and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Now these lines I'm going to go through aren't in order from when they were said throughout the episode. I'm pretty sure it's just from when I've decided to note them all down, so the one I say like second last could be like the first thing Barry said and stuff like that. So they're not in order, so don't like crucify me for that in the comments. So the first one to go over is when Barry says every hour, every minute. Now this is from the 17th episode of season 3 of The Flash, most well known as the musical crossover with Supergirl. So this was a part of the song that Barry sang to Iris before proposing to her for the second time. So if you remember last season, remember Barry proposes to Iris just so she would have the ring on her finger, because when she died she didn't have the ring and stuff like that. So Barry proposed to her to try and change the timeline. She found out, drama ensued, and in the musical crossover he properly proposed to her through song. The next thing Barry said was, "Dad and I are both okay, we're gonna be fine." Now this was said by Barry in the season 1 finale when he goes back to the night of his mother's death to prevent it, but eventually doesn't do that due to his future self telling him not to. Now he says these lines after Nora has been stabbed by the Reverse Flash and she's about to die, so Barry's just sort of like calming her down during her final moments. "I'm just not sure I'm like you, Oliver," is said by Barry and is from the pilot episode of The Flash, so episode 1 of season 1. This is towards the end of that pilot episode on the rooftop, which is just really centered around deciding whether or not Barry wants to use his powers for good and whether he could handle all of that, because obviously Oliver was the experienced one and he was sort of getting some advice from him. Another line from the pilot episode that Barry repeats in the season 4 premiere is, "You said the city was safe, that there was no residual damage, but that's not true, so what really happened that night?" Now Barry said this to Eva Wells, Cisco and Caitlin, so the Star Labs crew, after realizing that Clyde Martin, who is the brother to Weather Wizard, also had superpowers. So this led to Barry finding out the truth about all these new metahumans that were born on the same night that he got his powers. We actually have 2 more lines that Barry repeats in episode 1 of season 4 that are from episode 1 of season 1, so the pilot. The first one is, "It's a whole new way of looking at physics. It will change the way we think about everything." So this is when Barry is nerding out to Iris about the soon to be launched particle accelerator. Obviously, if only Barry knew about what was to come thanks to that particle accelerator. And the last line to go over from the pilot episode that is repeated by Barry in the season 4 premiere is, "He didn't do those things. He did not hurt my mum. I was there that night. There was a man." So most of us should know this line, and this is said by the younger Barry Allen to the police following his mother's death as he is trying to plead his father's innocence. And the last line from previous episodes in The Flash to go over is, "I doubt restraint is how you got to be the man you are today." Now this is from the 2nd episode of season 1 and is when Harrison Wells, who was actually Eobard Thawne, tried to like caution restraint to Barry, who was obviously still getting used to his powers at the time. So this was when like Harrison Wells, like the Eobard version, wasn't really displaying how evil he was. This is when he was like trying to, be really friendly with Barry so Barry would trust him and progress into a more powerful speedster, which is what Eobard Thawne wanted. But now we move on to the things that Barry said in the episode that aren't from any episodes in the past. So these are like little nods and teasers to events in the future, and most likely events that we will see take place, which is of course very exciting because it's almost like being told this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. The first one to go over is one that could have been from an episode in a previous season, but I really don't think it is, and that is the line, "Nora shouldn't be here." This is obviously referring to Barry's mother, Nora Allen. Now I'm very interested to know where this would be from and what is going on at that moment. At this time I really don't have any ideas, so I'm opening this up to the comments section. What would be going on at the time in which this line would be said? Where would Nora be? Why would she be there? So let me know in the comments section down below what you're thinking. I'm very interested to hear what everyone has to say. Now the next two lines are definitely referencing big moments in future seasons of The Flash, and I'm sure most of you may have picked them out already from the episode. The first of these is when Barry says, "Your Honor, I'm innocent. I didn't do this. I didn't kill anyone." Now this line is obviously alluding to the trial of the Flash storyline in which Barry commits a crime, is put on trial for that said crime, and is eventually found guilty. But what was the crime in question? Well, he killed the Reverse Flash at one point. And even though this was a pretty cool and surprising little reference, this isn't the first time that the whole trial of the Flash storyline has been teased on the show. Back in the season 1 finale, when Barry goes back in time, we see a few nods to future events, one of them being Barry locked up in Iron Heights. We also saw Killer Frost and even the Flash Museum as well in that little segment of the episode. So due to this, are they teasing that the trial of the Flash thing could be set up at the end of this season? Could Barry kill the Thinker or something else? Or could this be saved for a later season where maybe the Reverse Flash comes back into things and Barry kills the Reverse Flash? I think it would be weird for Barry to feel the need to kill someone that isn't as deadly. I think if they're going to do the trial of the Flash thing, it would make more sense if he killed Reverse Flash. I think wasting that story, I don't like to use the term wasting, but using that storyline on a villain like the Thinker, I just don't think would be as strong, and it might anger a lot of people. People were already angry with how they, used the Flashpoint storyline. So would they get even more annoyed if they used the trial of the Flash storyline, in that way as well, not as exact from the comics. So I think they might want to use it on Reverse Flash or another speedster, but yeah, I don't know if they'd want to waste it, if you want to call it that, on the Thinker. They might want to save it for a couple of seasons when there is a villain that is so powerful in regards to both mind and strength that Barry feels the need to kill them. And the last line to go over is when Barry says, "This house is bitchin'." Obviously I'm kidding. It's when Barry says, "We're gonna need more diapers." Which honestly, both are pretty ridiculous lines if you think about it. Now this is a clear reference, or not a clear reference, but a pretty big reference to the Tornado Twins, who are the kids of Barry Allen and Iris West. This is the one I'm not too sure if we would ever see, just due to the fact that dealing with babies and toddlers can be a lot of work for a show. I think if we were ever going to see the Tornado Twins, otherwise known as Don and Dawn Allen, on the show, it would be in the final season of the show. So Iris would get pregnant at the end of the previous season and then have the twins in the middle to the end of that final season. And we would only see the kids a handful of times in that last half of the final season. That's how I would play it, just because, as I said, babies and toddlers can be quite the handful for a show to deal with, especially when they're connected to the main character. But thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could leave a like on it to show your support for the video and the channel as a whole. As I said, let me know in the comment section down below if I missed out on anything that Barry might have said or referenced. Just let me know in the comment section down below, as well as your general thoughts on everything I've said in the video. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. I'll catch you later, guys. Goodbye.